Hey there my lovelies, and welcome to my BookTube channel, The Sassy Library Fox. My name is V, and today I'm going to catch up to the million gazillion, I don't know how many tags I got tagged for, but for this one I have been tagged for quite a while and I thought it would be time to finally tackle it. So today I'm going to do the Ferret Book Tag, and I was tagged by Bookish Buds, and I think the original tag was done by Chris Reviews, and I'll definitely make sure to link all those channels down below so that you know where to look up the original tag and also the tag of Bookish Buds, who were so kind to tag me for this. Thank you so much. I always appreciate getting tagged for tags. It just takes a little while until I actually manage to get to them, but for everyone who tagged me recently or not so recently ago, I will definitely get to your tag. I will do it sooner or later. Knowing me, rather later than sooner, but I will try my best as always. So, okay, this said, and without further ado, let's just jump into the tag. And this is a short tag and a fun tag, and I actually will probably have to think about what I'm going to answer to the prompts, because they are quite interesting prompts. So, F is for furry friends. Name a favorite book animal. Okay, so a favorite book animal. It's already starting out very tough. But I think I will go with Night Eyes from the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb, because I love Night Eyes so much. Night Eyes is such a great character. He is a wolf. And he can talk with fits. He kind of has this ability which is called the wit in the series, and people who have the wit can communicate with animals, and the bond between Fitz, the MC of the Farseer trilogy, and Night Eyes is such a lovely and nice bond. And Night Eyes, I don't know, I loved him already in the first book, but the longer the series continued, the more I loved him, because Night Eyes is just amazing. I wish I would have a Night Eyes for myself, because to be friends with him and to have that special bond that him and Fitz share, it would be so great. So yes, definitely Night Eyes from the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb. Next one is E. E is for Explosion Energy. What is the book that blew your mind? And I think the book I will always think of first when it comes to such prompt is Sadie by Courtney Summers. Sadie is such a mind-blowing book. Honestly, I think I've read it about 2 years ago by now. It's been a long while I read Sadie, but I'm still thinking about this book because it really just blew my mind. I didn't expect to like it so much, and I definitely didn't expect it to haunt me so long. But I think it's safe to say that Sadie is a book that will haunt me until the rest of my life. And I'm not sure if this is good or bad. Still not sure, mind you, after 2 years. So yeah, Sadie is definitely a book that blew my mind and really haunts me still. Treat with caution when you pick up this book. Okay, R is for royalty. Who is your favorite fictional royal character? And there's only one person I can think of. I read a lot of fantasy, and there are so many royal characters in those fantasy books. I mean, everyone who reads fantasy knows that there is always a king and a queen and I don't know what royalty. But my absolute favorite royal character ever is definitely Nikolai Lantsov from the Grisha trilogy and from the King of Scars duology, because Nikolai Lantsov is chef's kiss. He's amazing. I love his humor. I think I can relate to him a lot. He's very similar from his character traits to me. He's always up for easy and witty banter, especially when there's a dire situation and he needs to find a creative way to get out of it. He is very eloquent, and definitely more eloquent than I am. But he uses this to get out of sticky situations, and I love Nikolai. And if I forgot to mention it, he has a heart of gold, of course. So Nikolai Lantsov is really, really my favorite royal character ever. I don't know if this will change one day, if I will stumble across an even more interesting and great character, but for now the answer is definitely Nikolai Lantsov. R. R is for rebel. Who is your favorite fictional rebellious character? I could have come up with so many rebellious characters here. I mean, basically every fantasy book has a rebellious character that is going to overthrow the government, the hierarchy, the monarchy, or every sort of government that is in the fantasy book. And I could have come up with so many rebel characters. But I decided to go with the exact definition of rebel, and therefore I'm choosing Marie-Lou's Legend series and June Eparis and Daniel Day Alton Wing, because those two characters are amazing. They own my heart. I love them so much, and Day is the definition of a rebel. And he's always fighting against the government. He got famous for fighting against the government, and the people love him. And he is totally a rebel, and I just love him so much because he is a really kind-hearted and nice and amazing person, very intelligent. But due to his life circumstances, he decided to rebel against the government, and amazing. And June joins him on this journey, and she's actually on the side of the government at first, but that changes once she meets Day. And if you want to know more about the story, you just have to read the book. I won't spoil anything. Okay, next up is E. E is for evil. Who is your favorite fictional villain? I love questions like that. Because I actually love villains in books. I love morally grey characters, and everyone who's been following my channel so far knows about this deep love for really complex and morally grey characters. So my favorite villain is definitely by far, with a really long with a really long way between him and the rest of the villains, Victor Vale from B.E. Schwab's Villain series. Yes, the series is even called the Villain series. And Victor Vale, first of all, I love the double V. And it's so nice because Villain and Victor Vale, do you see what V. Schwab did there? I really appreciate that. And he is such a morally grey character. You know that he's doing wrong things, that the things he does are in his own interest, that he's a villain, that he isn't watching out for others, but to some extent he still does. There are people he actually cares about, and for those people he would do everything. And I just love how morally grey he is. I really can't agree with a lot of the actions he did, but I understand where he's coming from. So, favorite villain of all time, very complex, very multi-layered and totally thought through. So yes, that's my answer. T. T is for toddler. Who is your favorite fictional child character? And I had to think really long and hard about that one, because I read a lot of fantasy books and young adult books and LGBTQ plus books, but all of the characters in those books are children, but adults or young adults or teens. So a child character was really hard to come up with, but about 3 or 4 years ago I read Ghosted by J.M. Darrow. I think I just butchered the name even though I wrote it down, so I'm very sorry for the author. But this is a book about Kennedy and Jonathan, and it's a romance, and Kennedy is basically a single mom working at the supermarket and trying to take care of her daughter Maddie the best she can. And Jonathan is a movie star that has a lot of troubles and problems, and he is addicted and tries to overcome his addiction. And I think you can already guess that Jonathan and Kennedy are connected somehow through their child, because they were high school sweethearts. And when Kennedy got pregnant, Jonathan up and left. So now he's a movie star, still fighting his addiction. And Kennedy is alone with her daughter, and one day Jonathan comes back to his small town where he lived before he became a movie star, and meets Kennedy again and wants to be a part of her and Maddie's life. So this book was really good. I loved to see the process of getting over Jonathan's addiction, how the two characters got closer again. Kennedy has such a huge heart, and I just loved how she tried to do the best thing for her daughter, because it is so rare to have children in books, and to see a mom representation, a good mom representation. And I just loved it about Kennedy and this book in general, because Kennedy lives and breathes for her daughter, and she only does what is best for her, and her daughter's health and well-being are top priority for her. So I love to see this. And Maddie was such a sweet girl. Honestly, she reminded me of my own child a little bit, and it was so heartwarming to see those scenes with Kennedy and with Maddie, but also with Jonathan and Maddie. So I can really recommend this book. It was great if you want to see a good mother representation in a book, and if you like romances, you should definitely check that one out, because it was great. So yes, Maddie was such a lovely child. I'm still remembering her even though I read the book about 4 years ago, so that says quite a lot. Okay, and now we come to the super fun part. I'm going to tag other booktubers. And for this special occasion, I decided to tag booktubers that are smaller booktubers that just started their channels or that aren't all too well known yet, because I think they totally deserve more subscribers. And if my video helps them to get a couple of more subscribers, well, perfect. Also, I just discovered most of them, and probably when I post this video, chances are actually pretty high that once I post this video, they are already well known and probably have even more subscribers than I do. But never mind, I will just throw in my tags and hope that it might make people aware of their channels. So first up is Deanna at Deanna's Corner. Next one is Chloe at Phantom of the Pages. I love that name, by the way. Phantom of the Opera is one of my favorite musicals, so Phantom of the Pages totally made me curious about your channel. Third one is Rosica at the Midnight Reader. I absolutely love Rosica's channel. Rosica is amazing. You really need to check her channel out. Fourth person I'm going to tag is Jay at My Quarter Life Crisis, and I actually found Jay's channel through the Midnight Reader, aka Rosica. So thank you so much, Rosica, for making me aware of Jay and her channel. And the last and fifth person I'm going to tag, which only just started her BookTube journey and has lovely content and is really a lovely person, is Vada at Vadanya Silverscribe. I hope I pronounced it right. If I didn't pronounce your name right, please let me know so I can do it in the future. Same goes for Rosica, by the way. I hope I pronounced you right as well. So, okay, I think we're already at the ending of my video. Let's wrap it up here. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope all the people I tagged for this tag will enjoy to do it as well. It was really such a fun time. It were interesting questions and prompts, and I actually had to think a lot about it, even though it were just 6 questions. So yeah, that makes for a really great tag. Okay, so I think there's nothing left to say except of take care, stay healthy and safe, and see you around the next time. Bye!